So I told this person I was interested in them. To me, they looked distinct. They looked like the one. Unfortunately, they weren't elastic to my friendly riz. Hello and welcome to the third episode of Econ with Phantom. Today, we'll be considering interest rates, specifically by BOZ. So, what on God's good earth do I mean? Well, interest rates refer to the cost of borrowing money. There is a particular percentage that is charged on the amount borrowed by you and I. Now, why is this important to understand? Well, before looking at the broader picture, we need to consider the fundamentals. What is the intention of the interest rates imposed by BOZ? Well, to do this, I want to consider a major aspect that is directly affected by interest rates, the monetary aspect. The Bank of Zambia recently released a monetary policy statement in which they announced a revision of interest rates from 9.5% to 10%. So, what are the implications of this less than significant increase, you might ask? Well, the possible effects of this are actually substantial. When a central bank increases interest rates, holding all else constant, there will be a general reduction in the money demanded in the economy. Quite simply put, no one wants to pay extra. But with the increase in interest rates, that unfortunately ensues. In other words, the cost of borrowing increases, and consumers like you and I are unable to consume as much as we would. Worth considering also, when interest rates increase, the tendency of people to spend becomes less. You know why? People want their money to make money for them. I mean, everyone does. So, people put their money in banks, they buy shares, they have stock portfolios. And these investments, over time, they accumulate interest. The direct consequence of this is that money supply in the economy reduces, or in other words, there is less money in circulation. Conversely, a reduction in interest rates causes people to offload their money. Why? Well, firstly, it's more lucrative for them to offload their money and to hold it in its most liquid form, being cash. This causes a substantial increase in the money supply on the market. Yes, this is all basic and theoretical. I get the concept, but why should I be bothered? Well, let's consider the 0.5% increase in interest rates. With practical, realistic assumptions, let's consider the changes that will happen. The increase in interest rates will lead to a reduction in money supply in the economy. People save money in hopes of making a return on their savings. Another reason is that people aren't attracted to borrowing money in this time. It's just not worth it, for a certain clique of people at least. Now remember, it's just ordinary Zambians like you and me who borrow money haphazardly and end up owing Zamcash. These businesses are established firms that use the money that they borrow to invest in capital, buildings, vehicles, and labor. Now, because of this increase in interest rates by BOZ, it reduces the capacity of firms to be able to afford the business loan. So they don't borrow due to fears of defaulting, or it just no longer seems profitable to them. Well, where do I fit, you ask? You see, when businesses borrow less money, generally there's less investment available. Investments in small medium enterprises, infrastructure, building of fueling stations, starting up a trucking company for instance, or even establishing a small kandemba. One thing you notice in the above mentioned examples is there is a need for people to be working in them. That's where you fit in. Now, please, this is just one of the many aspects that is affected by interest rates. Finally, someone would ask, well, isn't this a negative thing? I mean, why not just keep interest rates high all the time? Well, that is a fantastic question. But you see, with every policy placed by BOZ, the Ministry of Finance, or Parliament even, there's an intention to it. In this case, the intention of the Zambian government is to reduce the growth that is happening in the country. Well, why the heck would you want to do that? Isn't growth what we want? Well, yes, it is. Growth is supposed to be sustainable though. In cases like this where there is just expansionary growth in the economy, it is bound to overheat and consequently burst. leading to an absolute crisis with loss of jobs, currency devaluation, exacerbated levels of negative growth also ensue because of the detrimental effects of the overheating of the economy. So, the intention of such policy is to cool down the economy. You could refer to the 2008 world crisis if you like, that happened in America. The economy is like an engine, and like any other engine, it tends to overheat if it is used beyond its capacity. Now, think of the interest rates as a coolant that is needed to help the engine cool down. Well, in this regard, interest rates are used to help cool down the economy when it tends to overheat, when used in the correct regard and when concerted policy is applied. Thank you to everyone for clicking on this podcast, sharing it, making it go viral in WhatsApp groups, Facebooks. Thank you so much to everyone for your dedication. Let's make this podcast overheat and also understand the fundamentals. Phantom out.